Hey guys, Brenton here. Today I want to show you guys how I upgraded the rear rim on my silver Phatmoto All-Terrain 125cc. I'm going to be doing the same thing with my new green one. The stock axles and bearings just won't hold up to an upgraded engine, as you can see. And also I want to upgrade the sprocket bolts, which again, stock sprocket bolts have been a problem from day one. So let me show you guys what I did, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't. All right, let's get started. All right guys, so this is what I'll be using for my upgrades today. 12mm axle. The length on this one is a little longer than what you actually need. This is 255 millimeters long. I'm going a little bit longer because I will be adding pegs on the back. Also, the bearings themselves, you can get these on Amazon. They are flange bearings. The smaller outer diameter is 28 millimeter and the outer is 30 millimeter. That's what's going to stop on the inside of your hub. Again, yeah, these also come from Amazon. The 1/4 inch by 2 inch grade A bolting you can get from Tractor Supply or any hardware store. I got lock nuts and lock washers, so double locking. They should never come out. No loosening and then shearing off. That's the goal. Also, with these sealed bearings, you are going to need a sleeve in between the bearings, just like that. Now this measurement's going to change as I go, but I'll get the actual measurement and give it to you guys. The outer lip between each bearing is going to be the exact width of your hub. It's got to be tight. You don't want it slopping around. If it's too loose, this will not press like it's supposed to. The sleeve will not press on the inside of the bearing like it's supposed to. If it's too tight, the outer portion here will not be on the hub tight. So either way, your rim's going to walk. So it has to be exact, and we'll get to that measurement. I'm going to pull the rear rim off and get the measurements and show you guys exactly, what you're looking for. Alright guys, I've pulled the rear rim off using a 15mm wrench, just loosening these bolts here and then pulling it right off, pulling the chains off, of course. What you're going to do, remove all these outer bolts on both sides. I have a spring tensioner on my pedal drive. That helps a lot. Alright, so for these you're going to need, you can do it one or two ways. 17mm bolt here, or nut here. I just get two 17mm wrenches and go on opposite sides and break them loose. Alright, so when you do this, all your bearings are going to fall out, so be prepared to catch them all if you're wanting to save them. I am not going to save them, but it's a good idea if you do want to save them to make sure you can catch them. They're going to go everywhere. Alright, so stock, this has never been taken apart, so I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ball bearings in there. So if you ever have to do some work on your bearings and you think you've dropped one, there's 9 of them altogether. We're going to go ahead and remove those because we don't need them. And I'm going to get a magnet. Alright, just a little quick magnet. Pick them up just like so. And I'm going to flip to the other side. Now, I bought this bike used, and with the amount of grease in here, I'm pretty sure somebody has already been in here, because you guys know that these bikes do not come well greased. That's about the first thing you want to do when you get one of these new. Make sure all your bearings are greased up. Somebody did a pretty good job here, so. Alright, so the bearing cups. These are going to come out. We don't need them anymore for what I'm doing here. And I'll show you guys a simple way to knock them out. Here's the bearing cup here. Let me grab a hammer. And a long punch. Or a long screwdriver, whatever you got. This has to be long and thin. Well, I guess I'm going to have to use a screwdriver because I cannot find my punch. Alright, so what you're going to do is just run your screwdriver through the middle. Well, bear with me, fellas. You get a thinner one. That one should, alright, that one works. Okay, so run it through the middle and make sure you hit the back side of the opposite side. And then all you're going to do is tap on the screwdriver, flip it, go to the other side, get it to come out a little even. Ooh, that one's being a little tricky. I got it. There it is. Alright, so yeah, your bearing race cups. Do not need them. Pulling those out, let me get the one on the other side. Here we go. Alright. So I'm going to show you how these bearings are going to sit in here. They'll sit in just like that. And the outside lip is going to hook onto the hub itself. Alright. So you're going to need the measurement from the outside lip of here to the outside lip of the other side. Alright. Oh, real quick, I want to show you guys the inner measurement here. Now, the measurement after you punch out the cup is 29 millimeter. So our bearings are only 28. So we're going to need to shim the inner diameter of the hub itself. So with that, I have 1/2 millimeter shim stock, which you can use whatever is going to be durable. I think this stainless steel shim stock is going to work out the best. You can go two thinner pieces to make it easier for you to bend to fit into the inboard here. This thicker stuff is probably going to be a nightmare to get cut into size and then to shove down here. We're going to shim the whole entire inner diameter of the hub to make up for what's missing, so these bearings are nice and tight in there, so you won't have any kind of wobble. Alright, so now that we got our cups out, I am going to get started on, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's go ahead and find out exactly what our measurement is on the width of this hub. Now this is a stock Phatmoto All-Terrain hub. It looks like 141 millimeters width from lip to lip. Let me take that measurement one more time. Measure twice, cut once, right? Okay, I'm gonna say it's 142 millimeter, kind of in between 42 and 43. Well, I guess we can go a little bit smaller than larger. We don't want it sticking out of the edge of the hub, so we'll say 142 for the width from the inside lip to inside lip, or outside lip to outside lip of the hub. Alright, so now that we know that it's 142 millimeters, we need to make sure our spacer, when we apply it, is going to make these outside lips exactly 142 millimeter. So see how far we're off. Alright, so I'm going to need quite a bit more spacing here. Alright, break out the handy dandy bolt bin here. Now these spacers you can get from Home Depot, Harbor Freight, or not Harbor Freight, Ace Hardware, or Tractor Supply. I got several of them, different sizes. Just have to make sure that the inner diameter 12 millimeter. This might be a piece together session if I can't get it to fit. Alright, looks like we're getting a little closer there. Alright, we're at 135. Need a little bit more. Woo, that's close. So I'm at 144 there. So now to get my 42, all I have to do is shave a little bit off of this one here, and that should put me right at 142, and I think that'll work out. Alright, so let me get started. Alright, to get started on trimming my inner sleeve here, I'm going to get a measurement real quick. And see my longest spot here. looks like it is going to be 92 millimeters, so I need to shave off 2 millimeters from that. Now, I'm using a grinder with a tiger paw just to buzz it off. You can use a hacksaw and a file, but I'm going the easy route here. I have the tools, I'm going to use them. Alright, so I'm going to get started just shaving off just a little bit at a time. I don't want to take too much off at once. Try to get these pretty even. You don't want a crooked cut on there, so try to get them as straight as possible, the way they sit flush on the bearing. Give that a quick measure, see where we're at. Alright, it looks like I got my 2 millimeters. Alright, so now we're going to work on the shim stock and getting it cut down to where we can get it inside the hub. Alright, to get the measurement, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I have this magnetic pipe wrap tape measure. I'm going to wrap it around the bearing and see if I can get close to the inner circumference of the hub. Alright, looks like about 92 millimeter. Alright, so I'll get my marker here. Set it right on 92 millimeter. Alright. And then the width, I need 42 millimeter long. 142 millimeters, excuse me. There. Alright. Alright, so grab my speed square here. Make sure everything's nice and square. Alright, that's what I need to cut. Alright, again, if I can't get this to bend into the diameter, I'm going to have to use 2 thinner pieces. That way we can bend it a lot easier. That's what I did on the gray 125 cc. So I wanted to try to use 1 single piece this time. I don't know if it's going to work out or not, but we're going to give it a shot. Alright, for this I am hoping that these will cut it. It's so thick. Let me glove up. This stuff can cut you up pretty good. Ooh, it cuts it. I don't like it. Woo. Yeah, that was not easy. All right, now let's see if we can get this thing to bend where we want it. I got a couple ideas on how to do it. Thinking about using the inside of my peg to get it formed and then stick it inside the hub itself. It's going to be tough. This stuff's pretty thick. Now, if you're going to mess with the shim stock, I definitely think you should have gloves on, because it will cut you. Now, that's turning out to be quite the chore. Alrighty, so it looks like I'm going to have to work at this quite a bit, so we may just go ahead and use the two pieces just to make it easier. I can use this as a template since I already got it cut the size. Oh man. Alright, so the other shim stock I have is 1.25 of a millimeter, so together that should give you half a millimeter, and that'll give you a full millimeter all the way around the ID of the hub. Give me 1 second. Alright, so I got my 1.25 millimeter shim stock. This is going to be able to, bend much easier than the other piece that we were trying. Let me get my gloves on. Alright, we use this other piece as a template. Where'd my marker go? Alright, we want to make sure it's a 142 where we're going to cut it. Perfect. Alright, so yeah, I believe this will be a lot easier to bend up and get into the hub itself. Give her a shot. Alright, so it looks like it's overlapping, and you don't want it to overlap on the inside. You want the edges to kind of be close. They don't have to touch, but they can't overlap because that's going to cause a much larger measurement on the inside than we need. The bearings won't fit. Alright, so I'm going to shave a little bit off of this just so it has enough room. I'm cutting probably 2 millimeters off of it. Not much. All right. Let's see if this peg will help me get it started. All right. Now this is not exactly easy, folks, but you know what they say. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And we'd have Girl Scouts building bikes. Look at there. And it's not touching. So I'll finish pushing that in there. Make sure our outer measurement make sure it's flush. That looks about flush on this side, and let's hope it's flush on the other side. That's what we're looking for. Alright, so it's not sticking out of the other side. It's a little bit short, but that's fine because we have plenty of width on the inside of our bearing. Now that's one piece. I got to cut another one and do the same thing. But what I'm thinking is you don't want the split of the shim to be in the same spot, so I'm going to do it 180 out. Alright, so what we had? We had 142, and I cut it about 2 millimeters off of that, so we'll just do 140 this time, and that should work. 140 millimeters width. And okay, I may have to remeasure that. So 92. We'll do it this way. 92 this way. And 142 this way. let me bore you guys. If you guys get bored of watching me do this, just fast forward to the good parts. That's what I do. Alright, now that we got that measured up, get my gloves back on and we'll cut that and we'll try to squeeze that in there. That's much easier to cut, much easier to work with. So yeah, if you're gonna shim, I suggest 2 smaller pieces. It's just a lot less of a hassle. As you guys can see, I was struggling with the 1/2 millimeter pretty good. It still didn't want to bend. Alright, so I'm gonna do the same thing I did last time. I'm gonna stick this in a round. You can use a socket, or this seems to work out for me. I'm gonna stick it in this bike peg, get it started. That way I don't have to fight it in the hub. Alright, what I'm looking for, the split is here. So I'm gonna put the split on this side this time. That way there's not a huge gap in one spot. I may need to end up cutting a little bit off of this one too. And it looks like it's gonna hit. Yep. Alright. So let me cut a little bit off of it. Now this inner one is going to be shorter than the outer one, so I'm going to cut it like 3 mils off of this time. Just like that. All right, that looks like it's gonna work. Alright, we're going to do the same thing. Tap this down to where it's flush. I might just use this. Finish it off with a punch. Alright, I'm flush. Check the other side, make sure it's not sticking out. And it looks like that one's in even closer cut than the other one. That's perfect. Alright, so now that we have our hubs fully shimmed up, now we can work on putting our axles in. Alright, so this may take a little bit to get in there. You want to make sure that bearing sits inside there. Woo, that's a tight fit. That's what we want. Alright, so now the bearing is in there tight. Alright, no, there's no slop. I had to actually tap it in. And that's what we want. We want a snug fit so there's no wall or no wobble of the rim. Alright, so you guys can pretty much see how I'm doing this. Alright, I've shaved down, oh, where it is, I've shaved down my spacer. So I'm going to put the axle through. Put my spacers in. Alright, and then I'm going to add the other bearing. I'm going to have to tap this one in too. It's going to be a pretty snug fit. That's what we want. Alright, so looking at this, one of the spacers, I'm going to have to shave just a hair off of one of the spacers because the bearing is not sitting flush on the outside of the hub. So I'm going to have to remove this one bearing and remove a spacer. Bearing tried to come out. I'm going to tap that back down. Alright, so total width of our bearing from the lip, total width of the bearing is 8 millimeters, and then you subtract the lip here, which is 2 millimeters thick. So we've got a total 6 millimeters on the smaller diameter. Now we need 6 millimeters between the sleeve and the outer edge of the hub, which I don't know if we have. It seems like it's rubbing, but it could be just because the bearing was trying to kick out on the other side on me. Oop, measure with the right end here. All right, so I'm showing that we have enough space. We're right at 6 millimeters. So I'm not going to take any more off of the sleeve. Just going to make sure that I don't knock the other bearing out getting this bearing in. I think what it's doing is the shim is pushing the other bearing out as I'm knocking the other one in. Just want to make sure that they're both in there all the way. You want to be careful with these bearings. You don't want to hit it on them too much, because you'll bend the outer protective cover onto the bearings themselves, and then they're no good. Go back and forth until I make sure both sides are completely sitting down. I think we got it, fellas. Yep, sealed bearings. And that's how I do the sealed bearings. Alright, you got your sleeves on the inside, and both your sealed bearings are tight. That's what you're looking for. Alright, so next thing we're going to get started on is the bolting for the drive sprocket. Now these bolts snap all the time. You guys are well aware of it. They're cheap. They snap off. The threads strip out. So I'm completely doing away with that. I'm going to be removing these and drilling all the way through the hub to where they stick out on the inside of the hub in here. But you can't see it from there. They're going to stick out on the inside of here, and that's where you're going to place your lock washer and lock nut. So it'll be right here, if you can see it. Yeah. Alright, so how I'm going to do this is I'm going to remove I'm going to remove 4 of the bolts. I'm going to leave 2 in, that way everything is still lined up. And I'm going to drill out all 4 of these to 1/4 inch thick, all the way through the rotor, all the way through the spacer, and all the way through the hub. Alright, once I get those 4 drilled out, I'm going to put all 4 of them that I drilled out in and tighten them up before I release these 2 here. That way I can be assured that everything's still lined up and my holes are not off when I'm drilling. Alright, so I'm going to get tooled up for that. Alright, I got a 4mm Allen wrench. Like I said, I'm going to break 4 of them and completely remove them. Let's see if someone's been into these bolts. They don't look like stock bolts, but I could be wrong. We'll see how much Loctite they have on them. That'll tell us if anybody's been in them or not. No Loctite. So yeah, these bolts haven't been replaced, or whoever replaced them didn't put any Loctite on them at all. Now you guys don't have to use as thick of a bolt as I'm using. The only reason I'm using such a thick bolt is because I have a lot of torque with these pit bike motors that I've been putting on these bikes. But for you 212 Predator guys out there, this is something you guys might want to look at. Maybe just going 6mm is going to help. It's these little, I don't know what they are, 4 or 5mm. Hold on, we'll do a quick measurement. So yeah, it's like not quite 5mm bolting. Yeah, that stuff doesn't hold up. Alright, so now that I got 4 of my bolts out, I'm going to get a 1/4 inch drill bit. And because these already are they already have holes in them. There's a pilot hole, so you can freehand this and not worry about going all crazy. Alright, get my drill out. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you, you might use more than one drill bit because the metal that this rotor is made out of is really tough. It will burn up your drill bits. Once you get past that, the rest is, you know, soft metal and aluminum. Alright, so we'll give her a shot here on the first one. Already burning up my bolt or my drill bit, so this is going to take a while. Alright, let me get some oil to cool this blade down. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I do not have any penetrating or cutting oil, so looks like I'm going to be using old trusty WD-40. Now all this is to do is just keep that blade where it's not so hot and burning up. Alright, that's the battery gun. Alright, not much progress there. So yeah, this is about the toughest part of the job. It's just gonna take time. I'm gonna go ahead and drill through the rotor and then. Hey guys, I had some weather move in, so I think I'm gonna stop right here and make a part 2 to the video, and we'll finish the rim and I'll show you the issues I had mounting and everything else. I appreciate you checking me out, and until next time.